And just like a moment, you were too shy. But you weren't the only cause, so was I. And I dreamed of you ever since. Now I build up my confidence that next time you come my way, I know just what to say. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. I started to write you letters, but I wanted to be more clever. I wanted to get down and sweet talk you, hey baby. But just like a baby, I could not talk. And I tried to come closer, but could not walk. And I think of it every night, how I just could not get it right. Oh, if we ever come close again, I know what I'm thinking, yeah. Can we talk, baby, can we talk for a minute? I wanna know your name. Can we talk for a minute, baby? I want to know your name. Oh, girl, one more chance with you again. I will not let it go. Oh, please give me just a one more chance for love. Yeah, yeah, baby. I want to know. I wanna know, baby. Come on, talk to me, baby. Come on and talk to me, baby. I wanna know your name. I wanna know your name. So I will talk for a minute. Come on and talk to me, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah. I said, can I talk for a minute? Come on and talk to me, baby.
Yes, sir. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I certainly did, and I'm excited to be back in the trenches with you all and for us to resume our daily routines, right? A lot happened over the weekend. Well, a good amount happened. There's a couple breaking news stories that I'm excited to talk about today. And let's go ahead and get this thing started, starting with one. UK's financial regulator is testing using blockchain for its issuance of bonds. That is pretty interesting. We always said it. Blockchain will take overall, be the end all of everything. This is pretty exciting news, but also very interesting as well. Most likely just tax harvesting, loss harvesting from Golden Bezos, but they did the math. Golden Bezos took a 200 ETH loss on 4 digits. Now with the losses, he went and he bought a whole bunch of 3-letter domains. So I think he clearly sees the value in the 3-letter domains. But also, I think that it's a great thing for the 10K club. It's a great thing for 4 digits, for the reason that he owned a shitload of them, right? And now that selling pressure, he was one of the biggest whales. That selling pressure is gone. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 4 digits kind of slowly begin to increase in value again. By the way, that is not financial advice by any means necessary, but he sold a lot. He sold a lot of 4 digits. They're all gone. so he won't have that selling pressure on the market right now. Next, this is pretty interesting because the banks are coming for your domains. The banks are coming for your domains. The biggest institutions in the world are coming for your domains. So now's the time to be patient, be aware, and understand what is going on right now, right? And we're gonna jump into that. Brazil's biggest bank is to start off offering crypto custody services next year. I seen that first, and then I seen right after that when I was doing my morning research, I seen JP Morgan Wallet is now a registered trademark, and they're going to be, what a JP Morgan Wallet is a registered trademark, and they're going to be offering crypto services. What does this mean? In my personal opinion, this means that the banks understand if they want to stay relevant, which they understand very well. A lot of these banks have been around for 100 years or around 100 years or so, so they understand needing to adapt. And if they wanted to be around for another 100 years, they understand that they have to adapt to Web3 technology. Now, I easily see every bank out there doing the same exact thing and creating their own crypto wallets. It only makes sense. I think every major platform is going to do it. First is JP Morgan, next is Wells Fargo, and you name it, Bank of America. They're all going to have it. They're all going to do it. It just takes one market mover, and then the rest follow through. And then some are going to do it, and some are going to innovate on top of it. Just because you're first doesn't mean you're the best, right? So what JP Morgan is first, and I easily expect all their other competitors to quickly, very, very quickly follow suit with their own trademarks and try to implement that. And last but not least, which was real interesting, is and this kind of puts into perspective. Elon is working on a crypto wallet for Twitter. The banks are working on their own wallets. We know Instagram is turning its platform to an NFT marketplace. And long story short, this says the Web3 ecosystem, in my opinion, is going to be at mass scale within 2 years, because we're beginning to see everybody dive in right now. Now, right now, in my opinion, is also not the it's not hasn't manifested yet, but everybody's thinking about it. It's on top of everybody's mind. Everybody's trying to make plans, trying to put themselves in position for the next bull run. But that is all from me for the day. We have some very interesting things to talk about. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to our co-host Ron. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, doing great, GM community. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Yeah, just as I was reading those tweets that Kev posted, and I'm thinking about it. Look, there's a clear trend. Okay, everybody is looking to implement wallets, and I'm not talking crypto people. All the mainstream these platforms. We have a bigger trend, which is every one of these people are losing money, right? So you can't just rest on your laurels when you're a big company. They're losing billions of dollars, right? Because of macroeconomic factors. They're looking for the next big thing. And quite frankly, the next big thing is crypto for a lot of reasons. The next big thing is blockchain. The next big thing is NFTs for a lot of reasons. We could literally take the whole hour and a half and talk about NFTs possible use cases. We could take an hour and a half, talk about blockchain possible use cases in the real world. We could talk about crypto possible use cases in the real world, and not even break a sweat, not even have a pause or have to even really think very hard. But for these companies to participate in those for a variety of reasons, every one of them, there's one thing in common, and that's they have to integrate wallets. Okay, so that's a clear trend. I don't even think that's, that's just, heck, that stuff Kev just talked about, it's just stuff we heard about today. We hear about every day, right? And we don't hear about a lot of what's happening behind the scenes. So every one of those wallets needs to be hosted on a blockchain, okay? Very possibly the most likely one is Ethereum.
Every one of those has to interact with smart contracts, layer 1, layer 2 Ethereums, and even others. And then there's every one of those wallets and assets eventually need to be named, right? Especially the wallets. And yeah, that's you got to name those wallets to keep track of them. How much easier to keep track of my wallet is rn1.eth. I mean, I think so much of digital identity, right? I think of digital identity, but the reason big part of that digital identity is going to be your wallet identity. You can become that wallet, but we're going to have multiple wallets. There's no way anybody's going to only have one wallet. Just like few people had one email, right? You probably had one email that your family and friends use. My wife's still using a Yahoo email today, right? And I'm still using a Gmail email, and I really can't stand um, Google, all the big tech and the spying on us and all the advertisements and things like that. But so yeah, I mean, it just if you're new here today and you're looking for the next trend, well, bigger trend and there's little trends within a trend, and the hot trend is wallets and digital identities and digital wallets for NFTs and crypto and whatnot, and probably all of the above. And then you take it to the next layer of NFTs being used for or a blockchain being used for bonds, for voting, for real estate, for titles, for supply chain. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much today because there's so much to talk about, but I will just say there's a clear trend. There's an absolute clear trend, and that trend is wallets, and then naming those wallets. And yeah, I agree with Kev. The reason, even though we're having some setbacks right now, we have some serious wins. We have these big headwinds against us right now, but there's still this tidal wave brewing out in the ocean, and this tidal wave is going to come crashing into mainstream adoption. When that's going to happen, I don't know, but that wind is not going to. It's going to slow the tidal wave down a little bit. The tidal wave is going to come crashing. What we need to do is position ourselves in front of that tidal wave, and there's a lot can be said about that. But anyway, I don't want to say too much else other than, yeah, the macro still sort of sucks. The Even the macro for cryptos got set back a year or two, but within there, that doesn't stop utility, doesn't stop. What is it they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. It necessitates to take things to the next level, world Web3 and stuff. It necessitates wallets, and then it necessitates naming those wallets and keeping track of them. So I'm just going to stay with that theme this morning, and look forward to the conversation.
Yes, sir. Look forward. Thank you for coming on again, Ron. And like you said, I think it's as clear as day. See where the world is going and get there first is what a very successful man has said one day. And through the trends, well, if you're in the market, if you're paying attention, I think it's clear as day that everybody is trying to incorporate a wallet some way, somehow. Let's go over to our other co-host, Master, the veteran. Good morning, Master. How you doing today, brother?
Hey guys, good morning, and excuse me that today my throat doesn't feel very well, so maybe my voice is not too loud. And as I just pinned on the top, I think a couple of days ago when Elon Musk he put a poll to let people vote whether or not Trump will be reinstated. And I think with a minor, lead, eventually, 52% of the people voting for yes, which means sooner or later we will see a very active Trump getting back on Twitter. And I think that will only appear, this kind of things will only appear in Web2 world, because right now Elon Musk, he is just a too powerful man. He has the power to free a person which has been the president of United States, and maybe the potential to win that election again, a couple of years later. And I don't think that's the spirit in the Web3, because under a D web, I don't think there's one people that should have so much power as long as you buy the company or what, unless you buy all the voting power. But if all the voting power go to the one person, then that project will just become a shit project and doesn't have real value. So yeah, I think it's a very tricky question to lots of the Web3 project. How do the community, how do the DAO core team and the delegates can to vote appropriately, and they can represent all their delegated votes peoples. And I think all these are very good questions to newcomers. And we've been here for 1 year since the last year, ENS DAO, and lots of people here in this audience has been a delegate and keep voting on behalf of lots of people. I think it's a very interesting topic for us to keep focusing, and we might know the final answer very soon. And for me, it's another great signal, because you guys know I own Trump.eth, so that could be a huge deal, as a last name, as a company name, and also as if the guy become the U.S. president and he go down and he go up again, on and off and on again. It's very interesting to see how much it really worth, or what I can trade one domain for. And that's also the interesting part of one domain. If it's a NFT, if it's on a smart contract that no one can take it from you, then you can ask for whatever you need, instead of in a traditional world, in Web2 world, then you cannot be paying too greedy, because otherwise, yeah, lots of the traditional way, the loyal way, the UDIP way, they can take it from you. So that's an NFT. As an NFT, these ways just doesn't work here. Code is law. By the day ENS launches, then it's all determined what is the only possible way to gain the ownership of one domain is for the previous owner to give it to you or sell it to you. And there is no other way. Not a legal court decision can just take it from you, like a UDRP law from the traditional Web2 world. And I don't think recently we are in a very good market. Like the stock market doesn't really have couple bicycles from at the outside, but I see there are still lots of people very passionate about ENS, especially we just see how many people are there in CAF space. And we are still here because maybe still there are someone that's not only focusing on the flipping, not focusing only for the short run of the profit. We are aiming for something huge. We know that will come. I think a couple of years ago, someone said like long the Bitcoin, short the world. But in the future, that Bitcoin may be changing to a lot of things, maybe long the Ethereum, short the world, long the ENS, short the world. A lot of things will apply as well. But yeah, I think that's the attractive. That's why it is so attractive for us to see in the blockchain area. And in the Web3, we know this is something the traditional people, the majority of the lawyer doesn't really know. But fortunately enough, we have a couple lawyers here, like ENS punks, that acts totally different than the normal ones. So yeah, we are happy. This community just contain a lot of the spirits of from different areas, from different talents of the peoples inside. And when we're talking to each other, we gain the knowledge, we share the knowledge, and then we can build a stronger community and a powerful, more connected team. When when I run a project, I need some help from all the community. I think they can just fulfill my requirement. I think inside within the circle, we just all the requirement has just been digested. That's the spirit, and this ecosystem will just become bigger and bigger. Given more people are registering an ENS name, with more people having a crypto wallet, and more people talking about crypto. And right now it's the World Cup time, right? And we even see the crypto.com, advertisement on the side. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. We all know it, and there should be no, additional doubt that what can kill it, because nothing is going to. only our own scare, only our own hesitation will make it. So yeah, I think we should stay connected and stay strong, and yeah, be a diamond hand. And we'll see again maybe a couple years later without James in our pocket, and we will feel very proud when we are still talking to each other like 3 years after now, and talking about how we started this community, how we started this space. By that time, the 4D floor price is only one, and lots of people start to feel panic. But right now, it's wow, it's a lot already, something like that. We know all these will happen. Thanks much, guys.
Agreed. Thank you, Master. Thank you for coming on here, even when you're not feeling too well. Hope you feel better, brother. I know it's super late. Get some rest, and we will be here, man. Much appreciate the love that you show the community, and I agree. This is a strong community. This is a very strong community, even through the depths of a bear market. The ones who are passionate and not here for quick flip are still around and still hosting spaces, still a part of spaces, still actively building in this community. I forgot to mention two announcements as well. The ENS Labs is hosting two spaces tomorrow. One is to talk about the voting of a fund manager for the ENS endowment. I pinned that to the top. And the second one is an introduction to the ENS Labs team of the new hires that's going to be working on that team. I pinned that one to the top as well. So set your reminders and let's go show the ENS Lab team, ENS Style, some support with that as well. I also want to take the time to reset the room. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Domain Plug. Domain Plug is the newest marketplace on the market, ENS marketplace on the market. Check them out if you haven't already. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic over to our guy, NFT Verse. Verse, the stage is yours, brother. How you doing today?
GM, what's up, 5159, man? I appreciate you as always, man, hosting, staying consistent out here in these bearish streets, man. It's crazy. RM1, shout out to Ron, shout out to Master, two OGs, always dropping so much knowledge in these spaces. I see Steven out there, so what's up, Steven? The Shark, OX Tennis, Crypto Reporter. I see 00 out there. What's up, Gary P? My guy Flossin. Just showing you guys some love out here today, man. Yeah, it's just so much going on, right? I saw the JP Morgan wallet thing, man. That's, I don't know what kind of news that is. I'm being totally honest. Maybe it's a good thing. It's good for the narrative, right? It's good for, hey, we're looking at, going into Web3, which, guys, we've been here talking about this stuff for a long time now. We know that industries are going to come along. We had no doubt that they were going to transition. I don't care what they said in the beginning. We know that Web3, crypto, blockchain is where everybody will start to transition to. But sometimes it takes the masses who are not in these types of spaces or any other types of networks. If they're not involved, it takes them a while to understand until they see what we call the big boys out there, right? Starting to dabble in it and start to relay that message to the masses. So then the masses are like, okay, it's okay now, right? That's kind of what I feel like that's what JP Morgan's doing, is saying that, oh, it's okay, guys. You can come over. We have a wallet now, and you can use our wallet, right? When there's always been wallets out here for that we've been utilizing already that are probably super more secure. But keep in mind that is a proof of concept that they're doing with that wallet. Make sure you read the fine print. That wallet screws up, then that's people's money that's going to be screwed up along with that. So pay attention to those certain things. I know that at one point the CEO talked about crypto was a scam or tokens were a scam. When you speak that broad on something, I think that you just have to be prepared to kind of expound on it a little bit more, because there's things out there with utility that could be identified as a token, right? So for him to kind of put that blanket statement out there early, and now you're in here want to play in the pool, with everybody else and start talking Web3 and decentralization. I tend to question that sometimes, but it's all about the evolution, right? I said before, and I'll always say this, is that I know we have to run parallel. I know that Web2 and Web3 have to run parallel for a substantial amount of time. I don't have a time clock. I can't predict the future on how long that will be, but we will run parallel, and there'll be those crossovers between the two. But us being in here and people in general just have to make sure that they do their due diligence and understand exactly what these products that they're launching, what they mean, and what the use case of those products are. So I say that to say that, continue to just be out here and continue to learn, continue to understand what you're getting involved in. This is not monopoly money out here. When you lose it, it's gone. You can't get it back. So be aware of those types of plays when you're out here, in these in this crypto world, crypto Twitter, if that's what you want to call it. But you showing up here, every single day, Monday through Friday, to the ENS Update show, and even other ENS shows out there, shows that you're continuing to learn, and you're going to connect with people here that if you do get in a bind at some point in time, they might be able to direct you in the right path to get out of whatever situation that you might be in, or help you learn from that situation and be able to build a better or secure way of doing this type of business here in this environment. So that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we've been here through the bear market. We've been here through maybe I'll call it like a mini bull run, in ENS. But now, as things start to balance, there's a correction that happens all the time. The goal is, can you stick around? Have you positioned yourself to stick around and kind of weigh this thing out in order to see the other side? That's the thing, is that we don't know what the other side has for us right now, because it's tough right now, right? It's bearish, it's tough. But man, we don't know what the other side holds, and they could be holding an amazing reward for the people who just continue to kind of push through and position themselves. So I tell everybody here, everybody in the whole entire community, stay focused, stay vigilant, keep working, keep learning, and keep connecting. I look forward to the conversation today, and I appreciate everybody tapping in. Shout out to the community. Thank you.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I think you said a lot of great things. Thank you for coming on. The way I feel about it, what I said a little bit earlier in the show about the JP Morgan wallet, they're not the first, and they won't be the last. I think that's a step in the right direction. Personally, I think, first is JP Morgan, next is Bank of America, then it's Wells Fargo's, and then it's every bank institution. They're going to want a piece of the pie, because if you want to be relevant for the next 100 years, then you have to know something about how to adapt. And some of these banks been around for 100 years or so. So I think they know how to adapt. It might be sticky at first. It might not be the best situation or the best service, but I think they'll be fine. There's going to, like I said, in 2-3 years, maybe 4, we're going to live in a world where everything we interact with is on the blockchain. Another thing,
Oh, real quick, Kev, just to
yeah,
interject,
go ahead.
it's something that we said in the beginning, right? We said wallet adoption would
Yeah,
come first, right? So everything's starting to happen based on kind of some of the things that we touched on way early. So this is just part of it. It's phase one, right? Of wallet adoption.
yeah, crazy. You quote you coined that word. You probably should register that as a domain, that phrase, because you said that back in May. Right, and now we're about to be in December in a couple of days, and you said that back in May, bro. But let's go over to Stephen Miller. Steve, thanks for being patient, brother. The stage is yours, man.
All good, Kev, GM, everybody. I wanted to very quickly just weigh in on the JP Morgan wallet story, because there's a lot of things out there right now that you just kind of don't think about unless you understand the financial industry a little bit deeper. And that's namely just the fact that JP Morgan is making this move very calculated at a very specific time. And the reason that their words don't match their actions is very, very simple. Jamie Dimon has to protect what his current investors expect from him. It's plain and simple because the investor out there in the TradFi markets, they all view crypto for the most part as a major threat. So if Jamie is saying and going all in on like, yep, we've got a crypto strategy, we're building out this part of our business, it does in fact, have the potential to shake investor confidence. And that's a really, really big deal to understand because there's just so much deluge in that type of, old thinking in TradFi. That's why we're over here. But I think that this is, as Kev said, as Verse said, this is the first real chip to fall on that side of things. Now, there's a lot of ground that has to be made up, not only from other big financial institutions and banks, but we have to also be seeing the actual use of wallets continue to be streamlined, right? There need to be better custodied solutions if there are going to be custodied solutions. There need to be easier to use simple wallets if you're going to self custody. And I think we all know ENS does make that easier, but there are certain elements of the process, the onboard, all of that, that are still very much so in the way, right? They're a frictioned process. We need to aim for frictionless. Kevin O'Leary spoke about that at Web3 Expo. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago. As soon as wallets really start to become the feature here that get resolved, simplified, and made easier to interface with, mass adoption really does become something that is possible. Until that time, I think that we're still kind of in a limbo of sorts. But I just wanted to make sure I had a piece on that real quick, Kev. But I'll go ahead back on to mute for the moment and jump back up later once we're on to other topics.
No, yeah, I think you bring a great perspective on the timing. The timing is everything, right? So I think you bring a great perspective on that. Shout out to Steve. Steve is the host of ENS Shark Tank every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys aren't following Steve, he does host an amazing show. So give him a follow, and thank you for your feedback and your insight, brother. I'm going to keep the show moving right along here. Let's go right along over to OX tennis ball, OX pickleball. The stage is yours, brother.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. I was real cutting short today. Obviously, it's beginning of Monday. I just want to say, happy early Thanksgiving, especially I'm going to be on and off this week. You guys are basically like family, so, stay safe, guys. I know the market's kind of up and down. If you don't have family, there are always these spaces, right? These spaces are important, not just to make money and, to talk about our ideas, but to actually, belong somewhere. I feel like I definitely belong here. Obviously, holidays are sometimes the icky time for a lot of people. So hit me up on the DMs. You see them spaces. Obviously, have a Wake and Bake show. We got things all over the place. There's always something to do here on Web3, and don't feel too lonely. I feel like, that mental status got to be on check. We want to be here next year when the bull run comes. We want to have the team like all out here together, being happy, doing good stuff, and then just keep on building. But once again, thank you for last week. Solenko is already, hyped about their future on Web3 and the ENS, and they're going to definitely be in this group. I'm trying to bring tennis into this ENS family into Web3. But yeah, just enjoy it. If I don't have a chance to say happy early Thanksgiving to everybody, happy holiday if you celebrate. But like I said, there's always the ENS show out there somewhere. Be part of it. Be part of the family. Just thank you, Kev. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you for hopping on and sharing that. And I agree, right? Thanksgiving can be a lonely time for a lot of people, especially if you're away from family or away from friends. So this is a very tight knit community, and I'm sure we're going to be doing something. Maybe not exactly ENS updates on Thanksgiving Day, but we have a lot of great hosts and guys in this community that will probably put something together. Let's go over to Crypto Reporter. Reporter, how you doing today, brother?
Hey everybody, GM, how you doing, Kev? Ron, glad to have you back on stage, man. And then we got Matt, Gary P, I see you, Zero, I see you, NFT Verse, Steve. Got to give my shout outs now because who knows about tomorrow. So thank you everybody on stage, and thank you to the community just as a whole. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, JP Morgan, that situation. Just digital wallets in general. Now, Kathy Wood back in 2021 said that digital wallets will gut traditional banks. And she came out with that back last year. Now we're starting to see the original traditional banks are entering into this space now. And so that's really, really saying something. And Michael Saylor said it best, the first 10 years are experimental where we're figuring this whole thing out and where we go from 0 to a trillion. And then in this next decade, we're going from 1 trillion to possibly 10 because of institutional adoption. They're finally seeing these things that we've been talking about for a second now, you know? And the other thing with London and, the fact that they're going to be using that for bond issuance, I think that was very interesting. Now, a while back, I had a conversation with this dude named Bron Klein. He's the creator of the credit card strip, but he was also very, very instrumental in the creation of the bond quotation system. And so he was able to implement that across the US so that people could realize and see the bonds that were on the screen. So he was very instrumental in that, and he was the very first person to really tell me that, hey, this next thing in fintech would be blockchain technology, and that they would have to adapt or else get wiped away. So it's funny how this whole thing is coming together. You're using blockchain technologies just all across fintech. And what we're starting to see now is that all the major players are going in this direction. I think it's very important and very uncanny how these things are happening back to back to back to back to back. You had Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank basically stating that one exchange would have to fall before regulation, and now one major exchange fell. And what do you know? Right after the G20, President Biden said there has to be more regulation in this space. It's very uncanny how these things are happening back to back to back. A couple of weeks ago, they released the experiments about doing the digital dollar, and now they're going into this. And now you see every institution now investing, looking at a digital dollar now. This is serious. This is very serious stuff. It's all happening all at once, all now. And so as I get more into this space, I realize the implications. And Kev, you're right. This is not just, magical internet money no more. This is a real thing that institutions, that whole countries, whole sovereigns are going into. And so I think it's important to take a step back sometimes and not just realize that we're shilling names. Like, these are actual digital identities, and these will go on for some time. And so that's all I have for today. I got a couple of cool things as far as podcasts or things that are coming out. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, guys, just stay safe, stay vigilant, keep learning. Love you guys. Peace.
Do you want to give us a sneak peek of what you have coming out, bro?
That will be coming out this week.
All right, there we have it. If you guys aren't following my boy, listen, if you guys aren't following the speakers on stage, these guys are consistent. They show up and they bring value to the community. So go ahead and give these guys a follow, especially everybody here, as you can hear them speak, bring such different and unique perspectives that I just love to hear these guys speak and hear their perspectives on a lot of these topics that come up on a day-to-day basis in this market. Cool. Thank you, reporter. I look forward to hear what you to hear the podcast and things that you have coming up. Let's go right along over to official King E. Thank you for being patient. The stage is yours, brother. I know he said he was having some audio issues. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
All right. I just have a couple of things to say in regards to the JP Morgan. The first time I read it, it was just a huge red flag to me. In my experience, my roommate is the inventor of two-factor authentication, and they've been suing all of the major banks for the past 6 or 7 years. And when I read that JP Morgan was granted the patent for cryptocurrency, I started reading into it for some of the wallet stuff. It's very broad. And if you know anything about patents and companies, and big companies, especially like JP Morgan, they're known for bullying some of the smaller companies. a lot of times when you get afforded a patent like that, it's very broad, and you can use that as like a broad sweeping brush to kind of shun smaller companies from even being able to get started. For instance, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. I'm kind of driving at the same time. It's eye-opening to see that they were allowed to have a patent like this. And if you've ever tried to get a patent passed or pushed through, it takes a long time. So they have been chasing this for a while. They've been looking into it. They've been doing it. And like somebody had stated before, they have to kind of say what they need to, kind of push off any opinions or any news that may make it seem like they are kind of going that direction, which is why some of the head of JP Morgan said what I think his name is Jamie. I think that's why he kind of did what he did and said what he said, is because they knew that if they were allowed to get that patent, that they were going to be able to basically control the market here in America. And I think it's great timing right now with this whole FTX nonsense that I think things are going to play out extremely well for them in the future. And I don't think that's a good thing. Another point that I wanted to make too is one of the biggest issues that banks have with cryptocurrency is they don't want to allow people to take money from them and then go into and take it elsewhere, basically taking it from the bank. So if they're able to create an atmosphere where, let's say I have $1 billion in JP Morgan, I'm able to keep it within them and still invest in cryptocurrency. And I think that's huge. It's good and bad for the space. One, it keeps the money with them, but it allows more money to come in. So it's kind of scary to me to see that they were approved for that patent. And it's just, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel. I don't think that it's going to be a good thing in the short term, maybe long term, but it's going to be a mess, especially for the smaller companies trying to get in. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I think very interesting perspective, Eve King. I didn't personally, I didn't look at it that way, so I appreciate you bringing that perspective up. So I'm actually pretty excited to see how this thing comes out and plays out. But thank you for sharing that with the crowd today. I definitely wasn't looking at it in that perspective. So I guess we wait and see. What happens over the course of the next 12 months or so. Cool. Let's go over to Gary. Gary, thank you for joining us on stage today. The stage is yours, brother.
Hey, GM, everybody. How is everybody doing? Yeah, having a lot of fun out here in the world. We're always talking about it, listening to Crypto Reporter and getting the shout outs. And I don't know, maybe the bull market comes back and some people show up less, maybe like a lot more people show up in general. But, people that have been building this whole time in the bear market, nothing against anybody specifically. It's just more things will be happening and people will be even more busy in the bull market. Like farming everything that, is being grown and like working on things that, that we care about. And then also being concerned, for when the bear market will come back, right? Not to get ahead of ourselves into the bear market after this bear market, because most people that are sane, normal people are just worried about the bear market that we're currently in. But where my head is at is that I'm just focused pretty much 100% on building right now, right? It's like I don't even see the bear market. Like obviously I see it, I know it's there, it's really painful. I feel pain, other people feel pain. Anyone who used leverage, there's hope. You know what I mean? It's not the end. But and a lot of people that they're just waiting around, or like, man, this sucks, this isn't fun, when is the bull market going to come back, because they want to have fun again. Maybe they, you know, they're not out of money, but they're out of money, right? They're not in debt, but they're out of money. They're waiting to, like, you know, for the number to go up so they can get back into the groove and the trading and the buying and the selling and the parties. You know, because they just want to know when is the party going to turn back on. But, you know, there's other people that, instead of like wondering when, I almost don't want the bull market to come back right away, right? I'm okay. I mean, and you know, and this is just me, right? I'm not like really saying this for the whole world, but I'm just, you know, kind of looking at it from my perspective, where I'm trying to get shit done and I'm trying to hustle and I have a lot of things going on. And the longer the bear market is, the better it is for me. The longer the bear market is, the more time I have to build, the more time I have to buy, the more time I have to grow, the more time I have to do like more one-on-ones and reach out to more people and do more connections and just, you know, get my shit together all that much better. Because just as sure as I'm that the sun is going to come up tomorrow, I'm sure that the bull market's going to come back for crypto, right? It's like somebody, I think it was Ron, already said it, the technology is out of the bottle. It's not going back. And, you know, people see the opportunity, they see the benefits, they see the strengths, you know, compared to what we've already had. You know, they see the development. We see all these major enterprise, you know, corporations turning to the metaverse. We were just talking last night on Minting Coins how the metaverse is going to be led by B2B, not just business to consumer, right? But business to business. And, you know, there's not a lot of users overall using the metaverse, but there's a lot of investment going into this, right? At really high levels, like really high enterprise levels, from JP Morgan to Facebook and like everybody, right? Every enterprise company either has an enterprise strategy or they're talking internally saying that, you know, the rumblings inside their organizations that they need to have an enterprise level strategy. And then consumers like us, you know, we're like eyeballs deep into it. Normal consumers, like, they're not, right? They're too busy watching like whatever pop culture thing or whatever's on the news or shit like that. So, you know, I just encourage folks to, on this Monday, right, in the end of November, can you guys believe 2022 is about to be over? I just encourage everybody to change their perspective a little bit. And if you're coming from a place of pain because you use too much leverage and you're overexposed, you know, I mean, geez, that this is where the suicide hotlines come out, you know. But if you're not overexposed and you're just twiddling your thumbs, and if you're not overexposed and you're just waiting for all the excitement to come back, then you just got to be doing more than, right? Like, are you dollar cost averaging? Are you buying grails, right? Are you connecting with people? Yeah, it's super cool. I guess the thing with the trademark that JP Morgan wallet has, is that what JP Morgan wallet? Anybody can get a trademark, right? Or you got to like 5159 can go get a trademark for ENS updates, or you could try, you know. If ENS updates show, right, you go get a trademark for ENS updates show, you should definitely be able to do that, right? Like, anyone that starts a brand, I'm not a lawyer, right? And so you got to go talk to your lawyer, and maybe your lawyer is LegalZoom, or maybe your lawyer is Rocket Lawyer. But anybody can go get a trademark. You know, it's like Minting Coins is our brand for, you know, our crypto company, and Minting Coins is a trademark, right? We have the registered trademark Minting Coins. We're the only brand that could be branded as Minting Coins. So we are Minting Coins. And, you know, I'm like, so why don't you get a brand, you know? And why don't you start building your brand? And then why don't you take a screenshot of your brand, like posting meetups and doing shows or putting out a product or a service, and then go to LegalZoom and get a trademark for your brand, right? And then own your little bit identity and just continue hustling. canceling it out. But if we do nothing, the corporations are going to own everything. And so I'm glad we're here learning about it, because I'm so excited. I'm so bullish. And if you're like even half as excited as I am, because I'm doing it and I want to see you do it too.
Yes, sir. Very well said, Gary. Very well said. I'm excited too, man. That's why I show up here every day. I don't think there's anything more exciting than where we are right now in the world of Web3 and what's
So are you gonna trademark Kev Forking, registered trademark? Are you gonna do Crypto Kev, registered trademark? ENS
I'll look
Updates
into
show,
it. I'll
registered
look into
trademark. Who's your lawyer?
ENS Punks. So Punks is not with us today, but I'm going to shoot Punks a message. Oh, he is with us. He is with us. Punks, if you're free, come on the stage, brother, and we'll talk about that shortly. Cool. Let's go over to Captain America. Captain America, thank you for joining us today. How you doing today, brother?
Morning. How are you?
Pretty good.
I was just gonna say something about what we should be doing in this time period, and then Gary pretty much hinted along the lines of what I was gonna say, because I don't fashion myself. First of all, Kev, Ron, Master, Gary, Steven, Cute Capital, everybody. Good morning. But I don't fashion myself as a builder per se. That's fine. I don't fashion myself as a builder. I love the space. Domains. I joined NFTs in October 2021, so wow, over a year now. Christ. But Domains is really kind of like where I've just found, the community and the passion and the vibe and the understanding, because part of Web3, and if you're going to be trading and trying to profit as opposed to just learning and being involved, part of it is you got to understand how it all operates and how to actually make money. So, I mean, Domains is kind of where that all came from me. But in this period, while ETH is down, while liquidity is down, while everything is kind of at a momentary, calm in the eye of the storm type thing, I was actually curious what non-builders are doing. I say non-builder. I don't mean non-builder in a negative way. I just said I consider myself a non-builder, but I'm not. I'm not so naive about myself as to think that I'm going to spend this time, you know, creating something brilliant. I'm not to say that I can't and that I won't. I'm still always looking and learning into the space and trying to find ideas. But some of us who are traders and just passionate about the space and collectors and want to like learn more, I was curious what thoughts were as to things to be doing besides messing around on Twitter and listening to ENS updates. But I mean, I guess that's certainly a great start because I mean I was reading about the JP Morgan trademark this morning, and I had many questions that I just thought about, but was not probably going to pursue, and multiple of them were answered listening to, I think it was Crypto Reporter, I forget who it was, but like the services everyone provides on ENS updates, I want like this is what I would consider building. I mean, if you guys hadn't fashioned yourselves as builders, I certainly would. Anyone who really is doing something to push the ENS space forward, I would consider a builder, not necessarily just shit posting, but. So pretty much ENS updates is, what I would consider a great source of building. So keep up the good work, you builders. And maybe sometime in this bear, I'll find something to build myself.
Hey, I'll chime in on that. Look, during a bear market, there's a lot of things you can do. You can cut back your expenses. You can get a second job. You can sell some crap at your house. You can drink more water. You can work out. You can listen, because really listen and learning your education that way. Because the great opportunities, especially in the bull market, everyone's a genius in the bull market, but there's still better opportunities, and it's going so fast. The more you've educated yourself, you're maybe more likely, if you educate yourself in the bear market and you learn more, which is just, you're going to be ready when the opportunity comes, and also networking. We're networking, we're learning. So So really, I don't think it's if you're spending 20 hours a day on Twitter. I mean, obviously you need to be making money and putting food on the table, whatever. But listening to stuff, educating yourself. What's the difference between that and going to college? I'd say it's 10 times more effective. So I'd say there's a million things everybody can do, and one of those is just educate yourself and network. And pickleball, OX pickleball was saying, we're family here. And I was thinking about it in regards over the weekend. One of the ENS maxis got one of his wallets hacked, and all the other maxis were able to buy a couple of the semi grails. Lucky it wasn't his biggest wallet. It was a couple thousand US dollars, but some of the other maxis in the community, ENS maxis, were able to buy up his grails on the cheap and give them back to him at the same price. Something that was worth a couple of ETH, he was able to get for like 0.18. So we are a community, and it's the same with ENS and ENS Maxis and whatever. We're truly a family. We're truly here to help, and we're truly networking. I mean, look, I didn't serve in the military, but you look at people that do and have been to war together, they're friends for life. I look at some of the guys that I came up with in college and college friends and stuff, and studying Chinese and going to school in Taiwan was a stressful, super hard culture shock. Those guys, I've stayed in touch and done a lot of business with them for years. So yeah, there's networking, there's learning, there's improving yourself, there's a lot of things. I think all those things are comparable to building. So I don't think we should look at building as just being a dev. But hey, guess what? Not a bad time to learn some Solidity or something like that if you want to as well. So that's my 2 cents. Lots we can be doing.
Do you just, man, I thought I was doing so good on Twitter with 8 to 12 hours a day, but man, I got to get it to that 20 mark. I'm not quite there yet, but maybe
I'm only at the
that's the build.
17 hour. I'm only at the 17-hour screen
Oh,
time, so I shouldn't be.
17 hours. It's the holiday. It's the holiday season, so times are slower. It's the holiday season.
Yeah, Captain America. I think, I'm always on Twitter during the week, and during the weekend, I completely just don't even open the app, rarely. But what I wanted to say is, I think that's a really good question. I think that's a really, really, really good question that you pose for a lot of members in the community. What made me start ENS updates? The reason I started ENS updates was because I started ENS updates back in April, and I just generally wanted to learn more about ENS. So I started hosting spaces with guys who knew more about ENS than I did. And it started off originally as a brainstorm, and then it just grew into what it is today. That's a great question. I think one, it starts with networking. What are other people actively building? Master's building his Red Letter project. Gary's building Web3 domains and minting coins. Stephen is building Shark Tank versus building the Happy Hour. Crypto Reporter is always on different podcasts and things of that nature. I know NFL Champ is working behind the scenes and building some cool things. 00 is building. So there's a lot of different people who are building different things and actively working on different things that it's okay to not be the lead builder and say, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing, or how can I help out, right? Because the truth is everybody can't be the lead builder, or you might not be able to come up with the idea itself, but you could definitely contribute to an amazing idea that somebody else came up with. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I think Gary Vee talks about this a lot, but the 14th person at Facebook, the 20th person at Facebook, I don't know how far it goes down. Like the 25th person at Facebook, none of them started Facebook, and they're all billionaires. You don't have to be a Mark Zuckerberg. You could be the 14th person that came in after Zuckerberg, and you could build with the builders, and you could still do pretty good.
Yeah. But that is a great question, Captain America. I think that's a question that we should all be posing to ourselves during this bear market. How am I building in my personal life? Because I think your personal life comes first. Health, wealth, family, right? And then how am I contributing to the Web3 space? Thank you for bringing that up. I think that was really good, brother. Let's go over to Cute Capital. Cute Capital, thank you for being with us today. The stage is yours, brother.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for having me again, Kev. I love the space today so much. I would just want to piggyback on everything that's said. You started all with digital identity and how it all is about wallet adoption. And now you're talking about how everybody can contribute, even if you're not so tech savvy, and that counts for me too. I don't see myself as a builder, but although I try to contribute every day something to the space, and I might add a little piece to remind everybody that we're all waiting for mass adoption, but it won't happen just by itself. We are a big part of it. We are the early adopters, and we have the chance in our hands to speed things up a little. And I do it myself by just spreading the word every day, being positive, trying to educate myself and other people, trying to be helpful. And from time to time, I try to be a little bit more maybe strategic or tactical in spreading the word. I mean, we're all here every day and telling each other how great ENS and the technology and the opportunities are. But I guess all the people in the space already know this. So we also have to go outside our ENS bubble and spread the word there. And what I did, for example, two hours ago, I just went on Google and typed in digital identity and searched for new articles on this topic. And I found an article. I shared it on my Twitter because I thought it was really good. It was from the page Tech Monitor, and the author wrote about how standards are needed for the metaverse and how blockchain can be a big part of this. And I learned a lot myself. I learned that there's a metaverse standards forum. It was founded by the big companies like Meta, Adobe, Nvidia, and now there are 1,800 participants in this standards forum. I don't know if the ENS DAO is already in there. Perhaps Gary knows more. But what I did is I looked who wrote this article, and the author had his Twitter account on the page, and I looked for his name, and I also looked if his ENS address is still available, and it was still available. So I registered it, and I DM'd him and kindly introduced him to the ENS space and recommended Kev or Gary or Drea and other sources to talk to if he wanted to learn more about ENS. And the interesting thing is, this is a tech author. He writes about tech. He writes about Web3, metaverse, all this stuff. And he answered me, and he was very thankful and said he didn't know about ENS. So in these situations, I get reminded that it would be very arrogant if we thought that everybody at this early stage already knows about ENS. And I see so many people that are so deeply engaged since years into crypto or into NFTs, and they haven't heard about ENS at all. And for example, yesterday I was in a space with thousands of people, a crypto space, and there were OGs, multi-millionaires, and when I was scrolling through the members of the space, almost nobody had an .eth handle in his Twitter. So that's what I do from time to time. I just search for interesting people in the ENS, in the NFT or crypto space, and I try to onboard them to ENS with no rush, just friendly and educational. And that's my little piece. And I think everybody here on Twitter can do this. It's for free, and maybe in the end it will speed up things a little bit more for us. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you again. Great space. I love it. Bye.
Yeah, very, very interesting point there, Cute. Most people, the thing about it is when the normies don't know about ENS, I'm fine with that, right? Because it's going to take a little bit more to kind of get them onboarded. My thing is, when the crypto native people who are actively involved with NFTs and Web3 and Ethereum don't know about ENS. That's who what I feel like is our primary target audience is, and that's who we primarily need to reach out to educate. Right? It's going to take time. It's going to take time. We're moving in the right direction. You can see the trends. Right? We passed 1 million, 2 million. We're on our way to 3 million. We just passed 600,000 unique wallets. So we're going in the right direction. I just think it can't be forced. I don't think it can be forced. I think it's kind of just the Metcalf's law, right? As the more individuals we onboard, the more and more will come into it. Q. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm through. Thanks.
Cool. But yeah, definitely great perspective. The champ is here. Welcome to ENS Updates, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, Kev. What's good? Good morning. Ron, what's up? Massive Stevie, what's good, brother? Cute Capital. Um, so I just wanted to touch on one thing. The ENS DAO, right? And this whole endowment vote, I think is very important. I can't remember if I actually mentioned in here what I was doing kind of like in the background. It was actually shout out to like Steve Miller who put me on to the On-Chain Monkey crew. And there is where I met Mark Yusko. Mark Yusko is the CIO and chief investment officer and founder of Morgan Creek Capital. I wanted to try and put him forward because I learned about this position opening. Because for those that don't know, like this position is essentially somebody that is going to manage all of those funds that are sitting in the DAO right now, right? Obviously, smart move by the DAO. Don't let stagnant money sit there. Money should always be working for you, especially in these crypto markets. But it's a really important decision. And I don't think that we have enough education on what exactly does this person do? Who do I vote for? Why should I vote for this person? What are the things to actually look for? So I wanted to see just kind of maybe like get a gauge from some of the people up here. Like Ron, I would really be curious to hear your like kind of your thoughts on. Do you think it would be beneficial to bring a guy like like Mark in, even though he wasn't able to pitch for the business because we had some issues in terms of scheduling. Like we couldn't just get him in front of the DAO to be able to try and ask for an extension. But do you think it'd be beneficial for the community for somebody like Mark to come on in and like maybe talk to this? Like I know it's kind of the 23rd hour over here, but I'd be curious to hear Kev, Ron, Steve, like really what you
Yeah,
guys
I
think.
think honestly, it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I thought the same thing because I hadn't heard about it. Of course, I'm not that involved with the DAO, but I saw it this morning, and yeah, I was thinking, oh shit, this could be bad, right? I mean, you really need some. I hope there are people like Mark. Those who don't know who Mark is, he's probably got to be what, mid-50s, 60s, maybe even. I don't know. I don't want to make him older than he is. Like Charles Hoskinson, I swear that dude's in his 40s. He's like early 30s, right? But that's so I don't know. But I think Mark's a little bit older, but he's been around big time in the financial, the TradFi, and then for the last, well, since I've known of him, at least the last 7 or 8 years in the crypto world. So yeah, we need someone like that. I'm hoping these candidates, because it's, as we've just seen with Alameda and SBF and stuff, and hey, even Three Arrows and all these guys, man, that's a job that's managing money and not losing it and stuff isn't just something that you can do without a ton of experience. So yeah, I would love to talk to Mark Hughes. I'm hoping the candidates are someone of his caliber that have some serious experience. So yeah, I definitely second that motion and hope that they sounds like they've already narrowed it down to 3. So I hope they're super good candidates.
So real quick, some of them are protocols. Some of them aren't even candidates. Some of them, like it spans so far across the spectrum, and I get it. This is new frontier for everybody, so I understand. But I actually just got a text back from him. So Mark is going to come to the the 11 a.m. meeting. He said he's going to be able to make it. 11 a.m. Pacific time. So hopefully he can give us some insight, ask some questions that we wouldn't think to ask. You know what I mean? So if he's going to be in that Twitter space, I think it's going to be really, really good for us as a community. So yeah, he just literally just in this second just wrote back saying he's going to be there. But yeah, I still kind of would love to hear what everybody else thinks. Like, I mean, I could put up a poll and we can kind of like talk from there. But this is kind of what I mean, right? In terms of like the information not flowing down fast enough. It's like I had to go like digging for so much stuff once I saw that one thing, and nobody's fault, like, right? It's just this is the stuff we have to like better streamline, and hopefully these new community managers will be able to do it. Yo, Stevie Miller, shout out to you, my guy, for getting this whole ball rolling with all this, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. So I don't know much about it personally. I haven't seen. I've heard about it. Personally, I haven't done my due diligence to fully dive in and one on one. Like I see the three finalists. I haven't looked into all three of the finalists entirely, so I don't want to give any opinions too early. I guess that's why they're doing the space tomorrow, and that's where I'm going to be learning the most from it. So I'm excited for the space tomorrow.
It's today.
It's today.
I think that one is today, and the other one is
Wait,
tomorrow.
what is today? Oh, so today's the 21st. Holy shit! Time is flying.
Yeah.
Wow, time is flying. It's today. Okay, it's today at 2 p.m. Okay, I'll be there for sure. Yeah. So they have two spaces. That one's today, and the other one, I think both of them are today. Both of these spaces. Cool.
Is it?
Yeah, because it says the 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then the other one is the 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Cool. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, just for the sake of the community, like if you can take the time, do take the time, because this is the type of stuff that really does matter for our future. And if you can form an opinion that's like worth sharing, which I personally believe, like you should let your voice be heard. It's like one of my personal ethoses. Like, please, please, please step up and contribute on this because it's a big deal.
A big deal. It is indeed. Because whoever wins this is going to basically, what I feel like, you know, is going to be a big part into the ENS DAO. They're going to be a major play on how the DAO thinks and how they move. So I'll be there. I'll be listening in, and I'll try to contribute as well. And I encourage everybody else to join as well. Go ahead, champ.
Last thing I just want to say, Kev, sorry, is like in regards to like why or how this is important to anybody that's listening right now is right. He who controls the money, right, like in the DAO, right, or not controls, but he who manages, right, the endowment, like this money. Think of like a college football team, right? Think of or like a university, like how big these endowment funds get to be, and what that allows them to do for their respective schools slash communities. It allows them to do a lot, but vice versa. If you don't get the right person or the right team in place, it can have like, I mean, people that do not know how to manage risk in environments like this it's not a good thing, and that can prevent us, right? If the ENS token loses value, right? Because right now all we're doing is we're adding, right, more and more registrations, more and more renewals, and so on. But now when you hand over the reins to be like, hey, we want to allow ourselves more flexibility, right, like to make money. I like that thinking on the DAO's part, right, where it's not just, hey, we just want to figure out how we can spend money, but it's a very fine line in terms of what we could be able to do. If now all our delegates are starting to see the price of their ENS tokens start to fall, you don't know what can happen, right? To each his own. So be very careful. It can change the way in which like we move out here, like in these Twitter spaces, like it could change the face of ENS very drastically. So I'm with Steven, like I'm with Kev, like do some homework a little bit if you can. Go to the DAO forum. Go check it out. There's a whole thread on this on that DAO forum. So yeah, I just wanted to make that last point, Kev. Thanks.
Yes, sir. No, I think very well said on why that is important for sure. Appreciate you explaining that, bro. Let's go over to Blue. Blue, thanks for waiting patiently on stage with us while we talked about the DAO. The stage is yours.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for, letting me up. And okay, so my first purchase in the space was ENS. However, that I have learned about smart contracts and such, I just have a question because okay, so learning that most creators in this space don't own their smart contracts because it's associated with a third party. So my question is the same, targeted towards ENS because the way it was explained to me, and then from everything that I'm hearing. So if I got mines from Unstoppable, and so I'm wondering, is it really my ENS?
So, okay, this is a multi question that you just asked, and I'll allow some of the other speakers to chime in as well. But ENS stands for Ethereum Name Service. Unstoppable Domain is a completely different naming service as well, right? So if you probably got a domain from Unstoppable, but it wasn't an ENS domain, if that makes sense, right? The ENS domain, you get your ENS domain from ENS.app is the primary one. If you get it from, you can get it from ENS Vision, but that is completely different and a completely different naming service / solution than what Unstoppable Domain is doing. That's the first part of that question that I kind of wanted to answer for you, and then Champ, you could go as well.
Yeah. So when you say, is it really my ENS? Are you referring to when you say the smart contract, like, are you referring to the NFT itself? Because I think there's so many different layers to it, like Kev was saying. I definitely think we need a space on Unstoppable versus ENS, not so much as like, hey, why this one's better than the other. It's just, what are the differences between the two so that people can make an educated decision on which way they want to go and understand it. I have this conversation constantly in Twitter Spaces, but Blue, maybe we can, get together and see if we organize something. You can kind of give me your questions, and we can go from there. But can you give me specifically what do you mean when you say is it my ENS?
Absolutely. So when I first was introduced into this space, I was told that this is before Unstoppable had NFTs. I was told that in order to get, my ENS, that I'm supposed to go through Unstoppable domains to get my domain to own it, and it wouldn't be like I was renting it. It would be mine forever. And these were the steps. And then later down the line, I saw that this isn't really what I thought it was. So, and then what you just broke down, it sounds like I don't even have an ENS. And so,
I hear you, and it's a believe me, you're not the first, you're not gonna be the last. We all come in here kind of confused, but this is why Kev hosts these shows like this, and we hold Twitter Spaces 24/7 is to try and help in situations like this. But I think let's organize some sort of a Twitter space for this so that you can better understand it. Maybe we can help anybody else that's obviously listening to help better understand it, because at its core, a very smart person told me this very early on in the space, right? This is not just a domain name, right? It's not just a domain name. Like when we say hey, do you have your ENS name? It's understanding the utility behind it, what you can do with each one, right? Why you would actually use each one. How is it applicable to different use cases? Because the utility behind it and the use cases behind it is really what gives it its value, and what's going to differentiate the fact that what's going to differentiate ENS from every other naming service that's out there, right? So ENS is a naming service, and you have a bunch of different ones that are out there on a few different chains. But I think as you start to learn more, you'll see. Don't just look at it as a basic NFT, because I promise you, it is the furthest thing from just a simple NFT.
So
yeah, and I think too. I was going to jump in there, Jeff. I've heard people say with well, with Unstoppable, you pay once and you don't have to pay again, so you own it. But that's true as long as that company's a centralized company is in business, right? With ENS, you have to pay your monthly or your yearly, right? So you have a 4-digit with that BLEU, so that's $160 a year. But if you want to pay $1,600, you own it for 10 years. If it's a 5-digit or more, it's $5 a year. So for $500, you could register it for 100 years. So, and I don't know if that's even your question, and but I have
Yes,
heard
that's
people say, well, you
all of it
own this, you
is.
don't. Yeah, so you do own it, and realize one's decentralized, one isn't. One is like, you know, with the ENS DAO, they bring in hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars, and it's all controlled by the community. That's kind of what we've been talking about with like managing the DAO and things like that. But it is decentralized. It's a smart contract. So if you unfortunately or unfortunately have a very, you have a 4-digit and it's $160 a year. I have a 3-digit, so I pay $640 a year. And the reason they do that is just to keep people from squatting on the domains. But anything over 5 digits is just $5 a year. So yeah, if you register yours, like I say, it would cost you $1,600 and you would own that for 10 years, but nobody could take it from you. It's not subject, unstoppable domains, and this isn't about, I'm not trying to bash unstoppable domains, but it's a centralized company. All their domains are subject to ICANN and all, just like a .com or a .net or .org or anything is. This is truly a decentralized. It's on Ethereum. That's why it's called Ethereum Name Service. So you have all the decentralization and everything of Ethereum. So I don't know. I just wanted to jump in with that. I don't know if that's
No,
specifically, but I
thank
have I
you.
have heard people confused with
Yes,
that. So
because I won't say when certain people were introduced to that platform, it was introduced as decentralized. It was introduced as being able to own domains and not renting them. And it was like a one-time payment and it would be forever or what have you. So like once the
if they stay in
information,
business, yeah. I mean, if
yeah, like you
if they
said,
I worry, I personally worry, having been in the .com for a lot of years, I worry about things that don't have some kind of, you get all your money, well, how are they funding it? Whereas the ENS DAO and is makes literally tens of millions of dollars a year, that they can continue to hire dev teams and things like that. So that's nice, but I can start Ron's domains and give them to you for a billion years or whatever. But as soon as I run out money, and if I'm not paying to keep those up or paying for servers to host them or whatever, you don't necessarily own it, right? So I think that's a sales pitch more than a reality. And like
you
I
mean
say, in your
lie.
case, you're paying a little more, but yeah, I'm just saying it's a sales pitch. But yeah, are they going to keep paying their bills once they have no more money coming in, right? How are they going to pay their bills? I worry about the fact that they don't charge anything. And what if they take that money today and spend it, and then next year they shut down and you don't have anything? So that's my concern with them. But anyway, but in this, you truly own it. It's just like Bitcoin, right? It's basically unconfiscatable if you have it in the proper wallet, and as long as you pay the yearly update fees, you own it. No one can take it from you. The government, nobody can shut you down, and so that's why we feel like the .eth and the ENS is a superior naming service.
Yeah, well said, Ron. And two things. One, I want to start off with, I just pinned a phenomenal article that Q Capital posted yesterday on why ENS names are so much more than domains. These things are way more than domains, and these things is the next wave of Web3 and the next wave of society, right? Websites, payments, actual domains, digital identities, right? Two, so I definitely check that article out. It's pinned to the top, and that's for anybody who's listening, right? It's a great article explaining, going to depths on the potential use cases of ENS domains beyond just flexing on Twitter and taking and receiving payments, sending and receiving payments. Two, Blue, it looks like you have a .eth, so I'm a little confused here. I know you said you had unstoppable domain, but unstoppable domain doesn't support the .eth suffix. So do you have a .eth? Like, honestly a little confused.
Yeah, so they have .eth, .nft, .x, I think they had like 50, a list of these endings. So I'm really not sure what I have at this point. Because I've purchased literally probably like 20 of them, all with those endings, and then also misspellings of the with the same endings. So again, I'm going straight to ENS to try to go, claim the ones that I thought I actually had. Yeah, it's just finding out. It's almost just like finding out like you're really not a creator, you're just a mentor. Yeah, this is crazy.
This is good. This is good, right? Because you're not like Champ said, you're not the first and you won't be the last, right? This is what education is about. This is what this space is about. And I'm happy that you're here because we have some very educated people to kind of lead you in the right direction. So let's go over to Steve and then we'll go over to NY718.
So I apologize to take it to a kind of different direction, but there is a little bit of breaking news that just came across that I thought was definitely worth sharing, especially given this week. Macy's has just announced that they are officially doing a metaverse parade, and it is going to be happening for the very first time on Thursday morning. The details are just coming out about it. They will be featuring 5 different NFT collections in it, within the interest of basically getting votes from people that are attending the Metaverse Parade. And the winning project will actually have one of their NFTs created into one of the floats in the Macy's Day Parade next year. The collections that are being featured are Cool Cats, Boss Beauties, Sup Ducks, V Friends, and G Money. So, for what it's worth, if you're not bullish, I recommend thinking about the impact of the Macy's Day Parade. It is the single biggest parade of the year in the United States. Some may argue with that. I kind of like to argue with that because I believe Mardi Gras is the single biggest parade in the United States. But nonetheless, this is a big, big deal. So, food for thought. When ENS float? When ENS float 5159? That's what I ask you.
I love that. Thank you for the breaking news, brother. That is a huge deal right there. And I'm going to we'll probably talk a little bit more about it as well in tomorrow's segment as the details come in. Thank you for announcing that live on ENS Updates. You guys get the best information live on ENS Updates. NY718, thank you for being patient. The stage is yours, brother.
Hey, thanks, Kev. Yeah, I had to step down and come back up because I was some of you guys was going in and out, especially what Blue was saying. But in regards to Blue, it seemed like she was simply confusing owning a domain name or any domain name and an ENS name, and I see that as a beautiful problem. It could be the sign of ENS starting to become synonymous with a domain name, with a dozen plus domain name services out there. So I just wanted to point that out. And little things like that, to me, I'll look at it as bullish, very bullish.
And then also they kind of use that as an onboarding to make you think this is what we have. Like,
Well, in addition, when you Google, ENS, and I do a lot of Google ads for my company. You could pick different keywords that you want to target, and I noticed that Unstoppable Domains targets, they use ENS as one of their target keywords. So if you look up ENS, their ad pops
yes,
up.
their team explained it to me and told me, like, when I like, I'm not just like I'm literally doing meetings with these people and they're presenting themselves as such.
Blue, did we answer your question? Because I want to make sure that you walk away from here, not just like feel like I know that we're talking about, yeah, this is a great problem for us, the community, but I want to make sure that We're addressing your issue, your question, your concern, because it sounds like you know kind of where they're going wrong. Because I agree with what Ron was saying, that it's a marketing, in a way, it's kind of a marketing ploy, right? Like, if you're going to build on a name, right, then like pay $5 a year. Like, it's not a look at what like some of the web 2 ones are, right? That's what I tell people. So like that to me is a marketing ploy where it's like, oh, you get to own it for the rest of your life. Well, okay. Well, if I build on it and I use the utility of it and it changes the way that I live, then why wouldn't I pay $5 a year, $160 a year, or whatever the case is for whatever digit you have? So I just want to make sure, did we help
Yeah.
answer the question and give you clarity?
Yes. And here's the thing, the sell, to your point, is you're not owning those .coms or whatever you've purchased, because you're renting them because you have to pay monthly. And so this is blockchain. We're going to provide you with ENSs. Here goes the list of them from NFT to crypto to .x to, like, I can continue. I have them all. And so, to the point where I was talking to them about solving the issue of, because they said their website is decentralized. The website that comes with your ENS was decentralized. And so I was like, well, if that's the case, can't we embed our contracts on there, and then we wouldn't have to be centralized? But who, like,
Let's go
Do
to
you own OSTI?
let's go to
Because
four
that's
four
who
eight.
owns Blue.
Hey, yeah, I see you use blue.eth as your username. I know the guy who owns it. Actually, I see it's not in your wallet. You said that you were going on some website that where you could register like .eth, .nft, .x domains. But if you like paid for those, if you paid for blue.eth, it's not ENS domain. You probably got scammed, and yeah, be careful. I advise you to change your wallet and everything if that's really the case. So I wanted to ask you, do you own blue.eth, or like did you pay for it?
yes, I paid for the name. However, clearly, there are other steps on how to actually
Yeah.
own an
Stop
ENS.
communicating with them, change your wallet, and don't interact with the website ever again. Be very careful. They were probably scamming you and communicating to get more money from you. Be very careful.
So, Blue, when you found them, let me ask you this question: when you found them, because I think this is important for everybody, when you did like a search, right? You found you were on the unstoppable domain. Well, what you described sounded very clear to me, like it was unstoppable domains. But um, you called up a customer service number. Did you find it by doing a Google search? How did you end up there? Because I think that's important. Because if they said, "Hey, we have a .eth," I can't see the unstoppable team misleading like that. Because it might not be ENS, but that doesn't mean it's not a legitimate business and a legitimate company. I'm curious, did they tell you .eth that they have
Yeah,
for
they
sale?
have there's a listing, the best way to describe it, because I feel like I'm opening myself up to attacks. So, like, there's a listing of all
Oh,
the ones that you can purchase
gotcha.
through their domains. Um,
Yeah,
but
you know
yeah,
what?
I was introduced to them through like an NFT conference, NFTLA, NFT NYC. Uh, they're backed by some
Yeah,
pretty,
you're right.
it's just the way that information is communicated.
Yes.
Um, and I'm starting to see different verbiages being changed immediately because people are starting to take note. Same thing with OpenSea. Their verbiage has changed. So Yeah, this is quite interesting.
Can I ask you what was the website? Please don't anyone please don't go there. But what was the website? Where did you buy them? How did you pay? And how much did you pay?
So to be clear, like Unstoppable is a company that many artists and builders use, and they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
back
but these
links.
could the
Yeah, so I don't want to
unstoppable
be
domains
like
have
out here
never
saying,
sold .eth domains. That's
yeah,
the thing.
I just don't
Unstoppable
want
have
to.
never sold.
Hold up. Just to be clear, 448. Hold on one second. So, Blue, like I get what you're saying. Like none of this, we don't mean any of this to come across as like an attack. It almost feels like Inquisition style. So I want to be clear. Like we can take this offline. 448 and I and anybody else. We can open up a Twitter space after this and kind of help out. But please don't feel that you have to answer any questions. But we're looking obviously for insight to try and protect the community members, just so you know where we're coming from. Like please, please feel comfortable here in this space, and we're only asking questions to try and obviously help you as well as protect some of the community members. So I just kind of wanted to give context over there.
Yeah,
yeah,
I just want to say this real quick. This is very interesting, to say the least. This is very interesting. Let's go to Doobie real quick. Doobie's been waiting very patiently, and then we'll probably call this one a day after that.
Hey, Kev. Hey, everybody. I was just wanting to touch on that about the unstoppable domains. I've heard a couple people talking about them, and I believe they come out like 2017, if somebody can knows. But anyhow, I was going to say, like, from what I'm understanding, like, what she's asking is, like, she doesn't own that name. Like, the way I'm understanding it, that they basically, like, went out of business or whatever and, like, don't have rights to what they sold, like the .eth.
No,
And
I don't think they had the right to sell the .eth. I don't think is that what you're saying, Blue? Like that? I think they might have sold you. If you're saying they sold you a .eth, that's a totally different story. Then that was definitely a scam in which 448 was referencing. But is that what you're saying, Blue?
no, I'm saying that they provided a list of endings, from DAO to NFT to X, and then ETH was available, and then it was no longer available. So I still have all the names but the .eth, and I was trying to get to the bottom of all of this, if this was really
Okay.
like connected to the blockchain, and this was forever that I'm supposed to be able to own these names. But apparently I'm going to have to redeem these names from somewhere else.
Yeah, unstoppable domains never. Like I think I understand it, and just we'll
If she
probably.
bought it from if she definitely bought it from Unstoppable Domains, then what happened is that it's just not the .eth extension. Like if she bought it from Unstoppable, like we all know Unstoppable, like even though they're not like as cool as ENS in terms of being the number one naming protocol of the world, right? It's like Unstoppable is a legitimate company, and it's not an open source protocol. It's a legit company. And if she is certain that she went to Unstoppable and that she didn't use a scam website, then my guess would be that she purchased Blue.x or Blue.nft or Blue.wallet, and she may have put down the .eth because getting mixed up in the hype of .nft versus .eth, like we're in the weeds, new artists being onboarded aren't. And it's just one of those situations where she may have her crypto or whatever, and now like that would be my starting point, and then also encouragement of securing blue artist .eth or something along those lines to also have your .eth name.
Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, I think it's just a confusion, and I could tell it's a confusion when Blue, and nothing's wrong with it. I'm happy you came on stage because that probably cleared the air for a lot of people. It's just a confusion. .eth and ENS are essentially the same entity, while .wallet, .x, .nft, .crypto are all a part of unstoppable domains. And I just think you have the two of them mixed up just a
And
bit.
there's scammers everywhere. There's those two, just like you said, and then there's scammers pretending to try to be everybody.
Yes. So, Blue, I would encourage that you give the speakers on this stage a follow, because these guys are pretty much advocates for the ENS community, and you can learn a lot just by following their tweets and listening to them on Spaces, and that's going to help you understand the difference. But thank you for coming on stage and posing questions that that got the community together, because that is very important. But with that being said, we're a little bit over time today, ladies and gentlemen. This is ENS Updates. We do this every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Domain Plug. Domain Plug is the newest ENS marketplace where there is community tags. You could create your own categories. You could do what you need to do on Domain Plug. Check them out if you haven't already. With that being said, I have a song for you guys, and it's yeah. See you guys again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that being said, 5159 is out.
Last night I
First saw you.
started pretending.
Steve, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Steve wants to say one more thing as well.
I was busy listening to NFL champs sing the song.
Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I
We
want
whoa,
to. Yo,
champ, you're ruining the song, bro.
I'm practicing for versus thing, for the music thing. Verse, you still want me, right, bro?
Steve, go ahead, Steve.
You're good, man. I wanted to just give one final quick announcement for everybody. Like the Shark Tank is on tomorrow. I didn't talk about it earlier in the show just because I wanted to really focus on the news. Like there's a lot of really big stories that are happening, so I wanted to make sure the focus was kept on that. So please go RSVP. I pinned it to the top. And the bigger piece, if you are in Miami next week, Tuesday, episode 16 of Shark Tank will be live from Miami. I will officially be out there with Flexter and Fireball, and we're going to be doing the show live. The location is TBD at the current moment. If you happen to know of a venue or work in a venue that may be willing to host it, please feel free to jump in my DMs. But I am in contact with a couple different places that are near Metaverse Miami's venue. So it's going to be a really, really great time. You're going to be able to pitch live if you come, or you can, of course, join us as a Shark Live and buy domains right there on the spot. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up for the tank. Definitely join us if you can.
Yes, sir. And it's pinned to the top. Set your reminders. I set mine Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.